What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Saturday, October 21st, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 2:25 a.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and I want to share some of the latest breaking news coming from Israel. So apparently, Iranian backed militias in Iraq are calling on U.S. forces to leave immediately. Okay, so Iranian backed militias in Iraq are threatening U.S. military personnel and telling them to get out of Iraq. So let me read to you what they said. These are only warning messages to them, and serious work has not yet begun, the militias said in a statement. The statement concludes by saying that if Israel launches a ground invasion into Gaza, watch the border with Jordan carefully. So, like I said in my last update, and like I've been saying for days now, there's going to be an attack on Israel from all directions. Okay, we have millions of Iranian jihadists that have been shuttled to the Jordanian border, um, and they've been moved in unmarked buses. Okay, I showed you guys some of the pictures of these unmarked buses just loaded up with Iranian jihadists. Okay, these are volunteers that want to go and fight against Israel, and they're being shuttled to the border of Israel in Jordan and Syria. Okay, and I think Hezbollah is definitely going to get involved, and I think Iran will eventually get involved if Israel starts to bombard Hezbollah and these Iranian jihadists, or these random jihadists that have been recruited by Iran, and they're going to be sent as pawns into Israel. Okay, and Iran is just going to hang back and watch. And Iran has put their ballistic missiles on combat alert, apparently. And I've showed you guys the pictures of these Iranian long range ballistic missiles being moved in Tehran. So this is very concerning, guys. Okay. Iranian backed militias in Iraq calling on U.S. forces to leave immediately or threatening them. So very, very dangerous situation in the Middle East for U.S. forces to be there right now. We're going to see more attacks on U.S. bases in the coming days, in addition to attacks here at home. Okay. The White House is now walking back U.S. President Joe Biden's earlier comment that Israel should delay its expected offensive in Gaza until more hostages held by Hamas and other Palestinian terror groups are released. While boarding Air Force One earlier, Biden was asked by a reporter whether Israel should push off a military operation in Gaza, to which he responded, yes. The president was far away. He didn't hear the full question. The question sounded like, would you like to see more hostages released? He wasn't commenting on anything else. White House spokesperson Ben LaBolt is quoted as saying by Reuters. Okay, so that famous clip, I don't know if you guys seen it or not, but he was asked by a reporter on Air Force One whether Israel should delay the offensive or the operation in Gaza until more hostages are released, and then he said yes, but he misunderstood, which could be true. It could be a lie. It's hard to say really what's true or not, but it sounds like a lie to me. But whatever. The Islamic resistance in Iraq has claimed responsibility for a drone attack against U.S. forces at the Al Harir Air Base in the Erbil region of northwest Iraq. Okay, so this was yesterday. Okay, on Friday, there was another American base or Iraqi base that hosts U.S. forces that came under attack. Okay, And so they're claiming responsibility. The Islamic resistance in Iraq is claiming responsibility for that. And we have the former chief of staff in Israel, Dan Halutz, saying that this is the first time that Israel has had to recruit all of its reserves. Okay, the first time in Israel's history as a country have they ever had to recruit all of their reserves. Okay, that is just huge. Okay, anyone who tells you that this is not a big deal, that this is just a minor situation that's going to blow over, they have no idea what they're talking about, and they're just living in denial, or they just have no clue what's going on. But the first time that Israel has had to recruit all of its reserves, okay, in the history of Israel, that is insane. Okay, let that sink in. And here we have a E-6B Mercury Tacamo plane that was airborne all night and all evening yesterday, Friday evening, Friday night, and it was sending out nuclear attack options to U.S. nuclear forces. And it was airborne for quite a while off the west coast of Florida. And we did have a good amount of emergency action messages transmitted overnight. And today is the Sabbath day in Israel. So we'll see if Israel's going to wait until the Sabbath is over to start their ground invasion of Gaza. Or, like I said before, maybe they're going to preemptively strike Hezbollah first and some of these other forces that may try to attack Israel while they go after Gaza. Okay. So they may try to eliminate those threats before they go into Gaza rather than going into Gaza and then getting attacked from behind. And the second U.S. aircraft carrier that's supposed to go to the Eastern Mediterranean should be arriving any hour now, any day. So I think that Israel is just waiting for that second carrier strike group to arrive, because it's not just the aircraft carrier itself, it's all the other warships that come with the aircraft carrier. Okay, there's several guided missile destroyers, guided missile cruisers, attack subs, all kinds of aircraft. Okay, and in my last update, I mentioned that a U.S. Ohio class sub was spotted leaving Scotland 2 days ago, and this sub can carry 154 Tomahawk missiles, the USS Florida, and that would be the perfect asset to have in the Middle East right now in case things spiral out of control. If you have 154 Tomahawk missiles at your disposal, I mean, that is just a lot of firepower, especially if they have some nuclear warheads on those Tomahawks, because Tomahawk missiles were initially created for the delivery of nuclear weapons. They've only recently been adopted for conventional use, but they were originally designed as a nuclear weapon delivery missile. Okay. So with just that one Ohio class sub, the U.S. could basically decapitate the entire Iranian military and their nuclear facilities or their nuclear program. And we have the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, accusing Israel of committing genocide. And he posted that on Twitter. So let me read to you what he posted here. The excessive, brutal attacks that Gaza is being subjected to today will only leave more killings, tragedies, and tears of innocent people. The methods adopted by the Israeli authorities to provoke and encourage parties outside the region and not to moderate mistakes put them in the position of organizations, not states. We must also save our region as soon as possible from the justifications and legitimizations that Western countries and their media are doing, which have taken the turn of an insane obsession. I call on all countries and international organizations to exert their utmost efforts and to strive through all initiatives and means to achieve an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. I renew my call to the Israeli authorities to stop targeting civilians in Gaza and to immediately stop military operations that have reached the point of genocide. Wow. Okay, so that's the president of Turkey, a member of NATO, okay, saying that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Okay, this is pretty serious, guys. Okay, this is lining up with Bible prophecy. Okay, the Bible says that in the end times, there's going to be a big war in the Middle East, and Israel's going to get invaded by various countries that surround it. And some of these countries come from the north, like Turkey and Russia, also Iran and the kings of the east, which could be North Korea and China and various North African countries. The Bible says that all these countries will come together and try to attack Israel, but God will protect Israel and destroy their armies. And they're going to have so many dead troops that it's going to take 7 years for Israel to bury the dead. Okay, that's what the Bible says. Okay, so massive army. And this update is being sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, I have a special deal for you that My Patriot Supply hooked me up with, and it's a 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply and their 2-week emergency food supply. So to get the deal, you have to use the link in the description below this video, which is preparewithnyprepper.com, and you'll get 25% off the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply and 2-week emergency food supply. Now, these food supplies are freeze dried, so they have a 25-year shelf life if stored in the proper conditions. They come in rugged, water resistant buckets. The 3-month emergency food supply comes in 6 water resistant buckets, so they don't take up a lot of room. And you have 3 months worth of food, which should cover you for almost any scenario. There's a variety of different food in this 3-month supply and also in the 2-week supply. As you can see here, rice pudding, mac and cheese, creamy stroganoff, cheesy broccoli soup, chili mac, spaghetti. I mean, just a ton of different food here. So you're going to get a good variety, and it's also healthy, and there's no MSG. So get prepared, guys. We're living in unprecedented times. World War III could happen at any moment. And the 2-week emergency food supply is also great for people that like to go camping. You can get one of these buckets and throw it in your vehicle. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the 2-week and the 3-month emergency food supply from My Patriot Supply, 25-year shelf life. They also have a general store. If you click on their logo here, it'll take you to their general store, which has all kinds of prepping and survival items. So check them out, guys. I'll leave a link in the description below this video. And we have the U.S. State Department posting on their Twitter page a reminder of the travel advisory in Lebanon. This was last night at 8:17 p.m. Okay, we have a lot of countries now telling people to leave Lebanon. Okay, multiple European countries, Russia, the U.S. I mean, lots and lots of countries are telling people to get out of Lebanon immediately. So, I mean, that's like a huge red flag that something is about to go down in Lebanon. Okay, so let me read to you what the State Department posted here on Twitter. The U.S. Embassy is closely monitoring the security situation in Lebanon. The Department of State urges U.S. citizens in Lebanon to make plans to depart as soon as possible while commercial options are still available. We recommend the U.S. citizens who choose not to depart prepare contingency plans for emergency situations. U.S. citizens in Lebanon who need emergency assistance should contact the Department of State. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so very, very concerning words here. Prepare contingency plans for emergency situations, okay, if you're going to stay in Lebanon. So for them to repost this onto their Twitter last night at 8 o'clock in the evening is a big red flag. Okay. I'm telling you guys, the whole region is just going to erupt into all out war. Okay. You're going to have multiple countries involved. It's not just going to be Israel versus Gaza. We're going to see multiple countries. Okay. So get prepared. Things are about to get really, really crazy, and I will be going live when all this kicks off, which I think could happen any hour right now. I'll do 24/7 live coverage when this war kicks off, as long as I can, while we still have electricity and the internet, because that could go down. We could experience an EMP. We could experience a nuclear attack. We could experience a cyber attack. But I will stream 24/7 if I have to when this whole war kicks off. But things are really escalating. So, we're running out of time to get ready. So start finalizing your last minute plans and preps now while you still can. And here we have a picture that was posted by the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem of the 2 American hostages that were released by Hamas. We have a mother and her daughter. The mother's like 59 years old, and her daughter, I think, is like 18 or something like that. And apparently, Biden spoke to them by phone. Okay. So, it's a very serious situation, guys, because I think there's hundreds and hundreds of Western hostages, and they're not telling us about that. Okay. You notice that they haven't told us any solid numbers about how many hostages there are, and they haven't really reported much about the number of dead Americans lately, because I think the numbers are so high that I think Americans would be shocked by how many Americans have been killed and taken hostage. Okay. And here we have a video coming out of Egypt in Tahrir Square. There were like a whole bunch of Egyptians rushing to the square, protesting Israel and the current president. Basically, they're mad at Israel, and they're mad at the current president for being too soft on Israel. So they rushed to Tahrir Square. This is in Cairo. Let me play this for you. These are all anti-Israeli Egyptians here. It's just crazy. It's like watching World War Z or something. It's insane. An assessment by French military intelligence indicates the most likely cause of the deadly explosion at Gaza's hospital was a Palestinian rocket. The rocket carried an explosive charge of about 11 pounds and possibly misfired. None of the French military intelligence pointed to an Israeli strike. Several rockets in the arsenal of the Palestinian militant group Hamas carry explosive charges of about that weight, including an Iranian-made rocket and another that is Palestinian-made. So France is basically saying that that hospital, where supposedly 800 Palestinians were killed in an Israeli airstrike, it actually wasn't an Israeli airstrike. It was a rocket that Hamas fired, and it misfired and it crashed right next to that hospital, and it caught everything on fire. Okay. The Israeli military is saying that the release of hostages does not change their goals for the war. And apparently, Moscow is trying to negotiate with Hamas for the release of hostages, according to TASS, which is the Russian news agency. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Just wanted to give you this quick update. I will be doing more updates throughout the day today, and I will go live when this war kicks off. So make sure you hit the bell icon to get notified when I upload these updates and when I go live. And other than that, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.